Hi guys, welcome back to Magic Day. And please remember to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed to our station, please subscribe and then hit that notification bell. That notification bell will give you notifications of our future uploads. And also, if you give us a big thumbs up, we'd appreciate it. That helps grow our channel. In this episode, we're going to be doing a walkthrough and a ride on Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. This ride is one of my favorite rides and began back in March 3rd, 1995 when it was introduced to Disney Park. And at that time, it was a collaboration between George Lucas and the great Tony Baxter, who's Imagineer and legend for Disney. And to give you a little history on Tony Baxter, he started working for Disneyland back when he was 17 years old, back in 1965. And he started out as an ice cream scooper. And then he received, he started with other jobs. And the year was 1967 when Tony Baxter started using his lunch hour to explore around the park. He'd go backstage to a lot of the rides, and that year the ride was Pirates of the Caribbean, which we just covered in our last episode. Anyway, he was checking out the ride and he was backstage and he ran into the legend Imagineer Claude Coates. And Claude Coates took a liking to Tony and took him on a personal tour of Pirates of the Caribbean, and there they developed their friendship. And over the next couple years, lo and behold, Claude started to take Tony under his wing and helped him. And then in 1971, they shipped Tony Baxter off to Disney World, where the park was getting ready to open. And at that time, he was overseeing 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And so this kind of got his foot in the door. And since then, he's come up with some really great rides for Disneyland. In 1979, his biggest ride came out, which was Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And that ride really changed things at Disneyland and at Disney World. I love that ride to this day. It was so much fun. And then in the year 1989, let's back up. The year 1987, Tony got together with George Lucas and they did Star Tours. And that's where Tony was able to bring that relationship of George Lucas into the park. And then in the year 1989, Tony came out with Splash Mountain. And wow, that was an excellent ride. I love that ride. It's one of my favorite rides. And then in the year 1995, he and George Lucas partnered again and did the ride of Indiana Jones and Temple of the Forbidden Eye. And just to give you a little update on that ride, it was the largest attraction at Disneyland at that time. In fact, it increased Adventureland by 33%. And they also had to go out into the parking lot where the Eeyore parking lot was at in Disneyland to build this ride. And then the cast members, what they always like to do when things are closed down or refurbished or rides that go away, they always like to include things from other rides into this ride or memories. And so what they did, since it was Eeyore parking lot, they took the big Eeyore sign, and where we're looking now, if you as you're going down this area right here where you're watching the film, and you turn and you look back up on the left side behind the projector, there's a big sign of Eeyore. It's kind of dark and it's hard to see, but that's an Easter egg that's hidden in there. And there's lots of Easter eggs that are hidden in this ride. Also, one other note. When Tony Baxter was an ice cream scooper working at the Carnation Cafe, that cafe is still open to this day. And if you guys ever get an opportunity, go down to Main Street, Carnation Plaza there, and they do have an ice cream store, and it is a really good ice cream store, and the prices are amazing, especially for Disney. Disney's an inexpensive place, but the ice cream is actually inexpensive, and it's cheaper than going to Baskin Robbins. And so I'd recommend going down to Main Street and checking that out.
Okay, so the scene that we're looking at right here actually has a lot of props from the movie. Personally, I probably couldn't point them out if I'm gonna be entirely honest, but I do know that there are props from the movie, and there's actually, they quote it as a hidden Mickey because there is a magazine in there with Mickey on it, and I believe, if I remember right, it says something about how he's changing the world, taking it by storm, which is actually really interesting because it fits the time period of the 1930s and how Mickey was starting to change the world at that point.
So as mentioned, this ride began in 1995, and the line for this, I remember when it first opened, and the ride was sponsored by AT&T, so they handed out little cards. In fact, we'll talk a little bit more about those cards, and you can pull them up on an app, which Disney has, and I'd recommend that you do it. Faith, she'll talk a little bit more about it, go into a little bit more where to find it. But anyway, they had these cards, and they were hieroglyphics. And what you could do is you look on the walls, and it'd have these letters, and you could match them up with the hieroglyphics, and then it would spell out and tell you what it says. So that was kind of fun to do while you were in line as you're waiting for Indiana Jones ride to begin. This ride takes place in the year 1935, and it's actually before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
As previously mentioned, you can decode the hieroglyphics on the wall. If you have the Disney Parks Play app, you can actually do it while you're waiting in line. I definitely recommend that app because it will help time pass by while you're waiting in line. And it's fun to get your whole group in on it because everyone will have fun. Also, just keep an eye out. We will be going over that app in the future, just so if people are curious how to use it, we'll also be going over how to use the Disneyland app in the future. And also, Scott is in Florida right now at Disney World. And if things work out, we're hoping he can do a live stream. So also keep your eye out for that.
When they first came up with the ideas for the ride, they thought about using mine carts. And then that idea was quickly scratched out since they already had them over in Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. As you exit the ride and you go outside, the mine cart is out there, and it's from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which is really cool. And also out there is the truck that was used in Raiders of the Lost Ark that held the Ark of the Covenant in the back. And if you remember, Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, is driving the truck, and the Germans, the Nazis, are climbing over and trying to get into the truck. And anyway, that truck is out there, so it's a great place to go and get a good selfie of yourself in front of the truck if you like Indiana Jones. Anyway, let's listen to the ride for a little bit.
arrival. If you drink too much from the broken of you, we'll be happy to assist you with strollers. But please, stay seated until your transport comes to a complete stop.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like down below and also subscribe and turn on the notification bell for notifications for whenever we post. And please leave a comment down below for whatever you want to see in the future, because it really does help us know what you guys want to see. And we hope to see you next time. Have a magic day.